Master accidentally got 2 eggs. He told my junior sister and me to each pick one. My junior sister rushed to pick the one covered in golden light. That was extremely smooth and stunning, leaving me the dull, lifeless one. But it turned out my junior sister's egg was just a dead fetus, while I hatched a 9-tailed white fox that hadn't appeared in 1,000 years. I was worshipped by both the Sect and Qingqiu, but the white fox only had eyes for my junior sister, who was born with a dual cultivation physique. He even went so far to save her, as to drain every drop of my blood essence. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn back to the day we picked the eggs. My junior sister picked the white fox egg without hesitation. I knew she was reborn too. Let senior sister have this better egg. Master looked totally confused. He asked in disbelief, Wan, are you sure? After all, the little junior sister grew up spoiled rotten by everyone, and later had a bunch of noble suitors fawning over her. She always picked the best one right away when choosing things before, but she acted totally out of character this time, ignoring the obviously one-of-a-kind precious egg, and picked the plain-looking one instead. Hearing this, the little junior sister hurried to fix her slip-up, put on an act and said, I can't hatch anything good anyway. It's okay, my brothers will help me find other ones. But senior sister is different. This better egg should go to senior sister. Master looked at Wan fondly. Wan has grown up. She's finally sensible now. I laughed. If I didn't have memories from my past life, I probably would have thanked her for looking out for me. I knew exactly why the little junior sister was acting so weird. In the past life, she only cared about getting the best of everything. She picked the glittering golden egg without hesitation and put on a show saying to me, I'm afraid hatching this egg needs too many resources. It'll use up all your savings, senior sister. So I'll just take this egg reluctantly. But she used up all kinds of rare heavenly materials, nurturing it every single day, yet the golden light on the egg got dimmer and dimmer, until it was completely lifeless in the end. Immortal beast eggs are super rare. In the end, she had to form a contract with an already born young immortal beast. Even though that young immortal beast had a noble bloodline, it still had strong wild instincts. Once during a competition in a secret realm, it broke the contract and attacked her, almost killing the little junior sister. While I successfully hatched the first 9-tailed white fox that had appeared in 1,000 years, the white fox was born because of me. So it was the most attached to me, and the demon clan values bloodline the most. Qingqiu sensed its aura and hurried over right away. They treated me as their most honored guest. The sect also acted according to Qingqiu's attitude and shifted more resources to me, hoping to cooperate with Qingqiu through me. For a while there, I was the most popular person around. My treatment was even way better than hers, who had always been doted on like a princess. She was jealous and tried to pick on me a few times secretly, but got yelled at by Master every time. Even her beloved brothers told her to stop being willful, because I was the only master of that 9-tailed white fox. But I was the only one who knew. The white fox was naturally lewd and evil. It loved to charm and manipulate people the most. So after I stayed true to my principles once again, and rejected the white fox's dual cultivation advance, the white fox set its sights on the little junior sister with the innate dual cultivation physique. Even after my junior sister and I fell into the 10,000 demon cave together, it didn't hesitate to drain all my blood essence to save her. All because I was transformed from a top-grade immortal pill. My flesh and skin can cure all poisons, and my blood is a sacred treasure. It can not only cure poisons, but also boost cultivation level. It was perfect for fixing the problem of my junior sister's spirit root being eroded by demon ki. Right before all my blood essence was drained, I saw the little junior sister curled up in the white fox's arms, staring at me smugly. Look, senior sister, the white fox has only ever liked me. You forcefully took him away from me for all these years. We would have been together a long time ago otherwise. She didn't mention at all that she was the one who rushed to pick that glittering golden egg back then. After I died, my soul floated above the Secti. I saw that until the day they died. The white fox never showed its true colors. The little junior sister thought the white fox loved her deeply. So as soon as she was reborn, she couldn't wait to pick the white fox egg. Watching the little junior sister leave with a smug look on her face, I lowered my head silently, afraid I couldn't hold back my laughter. Without me holding it back on purpose, I wonder if the little junior sister can satisfy the white fox's insatiable greed. I took that egg back to my cave dwelling and casually put it on the stone table. Look at how glittering and golden it is right now. I really can't imagine what it'll look like when it's completely lifeless later. The sword sect was already poor to begin with. All of the little junior sister's treasures were given to her by her good brothers from all walks of life. I don't have her connections, nor do I have that many rare heavenly materials. The only thing worth any money in my entire cave is probably just me. I went by the experience I had raising a white fox in my past life. I struggled to squeeze a drop of blood from my finger onto it. Ripples appeared on the surface of the egg, but they faded away right after. At the same time, the golden glow on its surface dimmed a little. That matched exactly what the rumors said. But I didn't have high hopes anyway. A single drop of blood is no big deal. I packed up my stuff, slung the egg on my back, and headed to the library. Back when I first got the white fox egg in my past life, I made the same trip too. I stayed up for days back then to find books on hatching eggs. Now that I've got experience, it saves me a lot of trouble. The book said most eggs that glow golden have developed spiritual consciousness. The brighter the glow, the higher the level of their spiritual consciousness. An egg like the one I have here already knows everything that's going on outside. When it'll break out of its shell is totally up to it. So the most important thing is to keep it happy. I was lost in thought. After that, I tried tons of ways to make the egg happy. Turns out it loves listening to stories more than anything. I was really glad. After all, the stories I tell can even make the youngest disciple in the sect cry. I've got decades of stored up stories. I've got way too many ideas. I kept telling it stories non-stop. I didn't even notice time passing by. Until one day, the entire sect suddenly started shaking. Dark clouds stretching for thousands of miles gathered in the sky. Everyone in the sect was woken up by the commotion and rushed to the training field to watch the fun. I knew the white fox was about to be born. I went through the same lightning tribulation in my past life. There were 81 strikes total. They struck from early morning till late at night. I fought through all of them all by myself and got knocked out cold by the last strike. The junior sister was obviously way luckier than me. She took out one golden glowing magical artifact and talisman after another and threw them out. The clouds cleared up in no time. The glossy furred white fox curled up in the junior sister's hands, with 9 tails spread out behind it. It didn't look messy and embarrassed at all like it did in my past life. It made the junior sister look even more like a goddess from the 9 heavens. Chinkyu had already sensed its aura and rushed over. He leaned over carefully. It's really a 9-tailed white fox. A 9-tailed white fox has been born. This is a huge blessing for Qingqiu. Thank you, immortal song. The junior sister hugged the white fox tightly, pretending to be reserved. But the pride in her eyes was impossible to hide. Now that the white fox has just been born, it can't leave me yet. I hope the elders and the sect leader, Immortal, can discuss the follow-up arrangements carefully. After she finished speaking, the junior sister walked up to me and looked at me pretentiously. It's already been a month. I wonder how your egg hatching is going, senior sister. Of course I can't compare to you, junior sister. The junior sister smiled as expected. She tried to grab my hand, but I shook her off instinctively. She stepped back 2 paces. In the blink of an eye, her eyes filled with tears, and she said, "Senior sister, I shouldn't have shown you the white fox. I didn't know that your egg hasn't hatched yet. I didn't do it on purpose. Just as she wanted." The disciples on the training field started murmuring loudly. Sounds of mocking kept coming from the crowd. One voice stood out in particular. "Her cultivation is worse than junior sister songs. And now she can't even hatch an egg. How does she deserve to be the head senior sister? She should step down and let someone more capable take her place. Let junior sister song do it." I glanced at the person who said that and saw it was a chubby junior brother. I know who he is. On usual training days, he's the laziest one out of all the disciples. He spends all day sucking up to the junior sister. I scolded him a few times for that. I didn't expect he'd hold a grudge against me for it. A lot of people agreed with him. I looked around the crowd. They were all the people who, after the white fox was born in my past life, used to shower me with compliments and favors. I scoffed in my mind. I never thought the cultivation world would be this snobby. The junior sister panicked and declined repeatedly, putting on a show, saying she wasn't capable of taking such a big responsibility. But the chubby junior brother cut her off, his words full of disdain for me. Then let the junior sister take the position of head senior sister. I glanced at the disciples on the training field, with an unreadable expression on my face. This position was always a burden to me anyway. Getting rid of it actually takes a weight off my shoulders. It's them I'm worried about. I smiled. The junior sister only cares about herself. She would never urge them to practice every day like I did. In the cultivation world, strength is everything. If you don't have absolute strength, you'll end up dead sooner or later. The group of leading disciples cheered immediately. Only a few disciples who knew the whole story got swallowed up in the vortex of power. The little junior sister hesitated before taking it, and calmly accepted all the flattery and encouragement from others. But where no one could see, she looked at me with a super smug face. Look, senior sister, I'm the one everyone looks up to this time. I felt totally calm inside, no reaction at all, and just glanced at the little junior sister casually. White foxes have to go through the thunder tribulation. You better wish yourself good luck, junior sister. I didn't wait for her to react after saying that. Just turned around and left. The Thunderstar is inherently upright and violent, perfect for suppressing the lewd evil aura of white foxes. Now that the white fox skipped the thunder tribulation, who knows how serious the consequences will be. Even though I didn't care that much, I couldn't help poking the egg on the table when I got back. When are you gonna come out, huh? The egg wobbled a bit. Golden light flashed all over it, then went out right away. It looked like it was venting its frustration. I laughed, told it a story like I usually do, then started cultivating. No one noticed that the egg next to me was glowing red, as the spiritual energy of heaven and earth flowed into my body. Half a year passed just like that. I suddenly got a message from my master. The immortal cloud secret realm is about to open. I wasted a lot of time telling stories. So when I got the news, the Sect team was just about to leave. I rushed as fast as I could, and just barely made it to the meeting point before departure. I spotted the little junior sister in the middle of the team right away. I hadn't seen her for ages. She got even more beautiful. Before she was pure and elegant, like a lotus from the highest heavens. You wanted to get close but didn't dare touch her. But that's all different now. Now she's fully blossomed. Her innate dual cultivation body has been fully activated. She gives off a faint, seductive aura just standing there. There was a man standing next to her, dressed in all white clothes, looking really otherworldly. But in the blink of an eye, he also gave off a faint demonic vibe. It was the white fox that had taken human form. The second he saw me arrive, the junior sister spoke in a snarky tone. Wow, senior sister, you're such a busy person. Everyone was waiting for you. A bunch of disciples nearby agreed with her. I ignored them and saluted the elder leading the team. This disciple is a moment late. Sorry for wasting everyone's time. The elder stroked his beard, glanced at the sky. No harm done, we haven't hit the departure time yet. The little junior sister's face turned red, then white after he said that. She glanced at the man next to her and got her confidence back again. Senior sister, I haven't introduced you yet. This is Bai Yu. He's the only nine-tailed white fox in the whole world. He took human form in only 3 months. Bai Yu, I got suspicious right away. Wasn't that the name I gave the white fox in my past life? The little junior sister was still showing off. But the main character she was talking about didn't even spare her a single glance. Bai Yu's eyes were fixed on me the whole time. He frowned and took a step forward. Sister Zhang? Before he could finish speaking, the little junior sister next to him cut him off. Oh right, senior sister. Where's your egg? Bai Yu's face changed instantly. He shook off the little junior sister and leaned close to me, looking completely shocked. Your egg, Jiang Qian? You have another egg? The little junior sister was frozen awkwardly to the side, not knowing how to react. I watched this farce in front of me and thought it was hilarious. Oh, so Bai Yu was reborn too. I looked at him calmly and said, Right, Bai Yu. Didn't the little junior sister tell you? There were 2 eggs back then. He chose you, and I got the other egg? His face turned deathly pale instantly and tried to grab my arm, but I shook him off hard. Bai Yu, your master is over there. Bai Yu suddenly snapped back to reality and turned to look at the little junior sister, only to see her face livid with anger. Bai Yu, what were you doing just now? I didn't care what happened between them, so I didn't keep watching. I walked into Lin Zhou's room took out the egg casually, and lay down on the couch. The egg seemed to sense I was in a bad mood, flew over to me, rubbed against my hair, then rubbed against my hand, wobbling so much it made my eyes hurt. I grabbed it down quickly and held it in my arms. I mumbled to the egg, "Let me tell you another story, okay? In my past life, the little junior sister and I also came to the immortal domain secret realm. But Baiyu was the one I brought with me back then. And he also took human form in 3 months. The first day after we gained human form, Baiyu proposed to me right away. I turned him down righteously. He kept asking for 3 whole months. None of his attempts to sway me worked. So when we gathered at the secret realm this time, he set his eyes on the junior sister. He didn't even hide how badly he wanted her. He pointed at the junior sister and said, 'Jiangqi, can I dual cultivate with her?' I looked at him seriously and turned him down without hesitation. 'No, you can't, Baiyu.' Looking at his unwilling face, I sighed. 'Baiyu, dual cultivation isn't the right path after all.' 'Enough already.' Baiyu looked at me impatiently. 'You've said that like 800 times already. Aren't you sick of repeating it?' I sighed, and didn't take his words to heart. I was just upset that I'd annoyed him. I decided to get the life-granting pearl for him as an apology. The life-granting pearl is a treasure only found in the fairy cloud's secret realm. Just as its name suggests, whoever gets the life-granting pearl basically gets a second life. No matter how badly you're hurt, as long as your soul stays intact, it can keep you alive. But the life-granting pearl only forms once every 50 years. Not to mention there's a guardian spirit beast watching over it. That spirit beast is a white tiger, with soul transformation realm cultivation. Ordinary people don't stand a chance against it. That's why very few people try to grab the life-granting pearl. But both the junior sister and I went for it anyway. With Baiyu's help, I actually managed to get the life-granting pearl successfully. But before I could get far, the junior sister suddenly attacked me. The life-granting pearl's aura was exposed during the fight. Tremors came from far away. My face fell. I grabbed Baiyu's hand out of instinct. "The guardian spirit beast is coming! Run!" But who would have guessed? The junior sister's contracted fairy beast suddenly went berserk. It even broke the contract to pounce at her. "Senior sister, help me!" I gritted my teeth and planned to turn back. But before I could get close, a surge of spiritual power hit me from behind. I didn't notice it in time, and fell right in front of the junior sister. The contracted fairy beast's sharp teeth bit hard into my shoulder. Severe pain hit me instantly, but I didn't have time to care about the pain. I ripped the fairy beast off me violently. A chunk of flesh was torn off. My shoulder was completely mangled, but I had no time to worry about it. The berserk fairy beast attacked the white tiger's head. That bought us a little time to survive. I picked up the junior sister and ran towards Baiyu. Baiyu reached out to catch the junior sister, but he used extra force to hit my stomach. I had no strength left at all, so I was easily pushed towards the white tiger. I looked at Baiyu's panicked face, but I felt completely calm inside. As I was about to fall into the tiger's mouth, a burst of light suddenly came out of my body. A sword intent shot out from me, heading straight for the white tiger. The white tiger collapsed with a loud thud. I lay right in front of the tiger's mouth, watching Baiyu run towards me. And then I passed out. When I woke up again, the junior sister was gone. Baiyu was sitting next to the campfire, roasting a pheasant. When he saw I was awake, he quickly threw the pheasant aside, hugged me and cried nonstop. His tears fell on my shoulder, causing waves of pain. I couldn't stand it, and pushed him lightly. "Why are you crying?" He bit his lip, and looked at me with a pitiful expression. "I'm sorry, Zhangqian. It's all my fault, all my fault. I was too nervous. I was so scared. Zhangqian, I didn't mean to do it. I was just so scared. I just wanted to catch Song Tingwan. I didn't mean to push you away." His shrill cries annoyed me. But after all, he was the little fox I hatched myself. My heart softened in the end. I reached out and patted his head. "Okay, stop crying. I believe you." He lifted his head suddenly and looked at me with hope in his eyes. "Really, Zhangqian? You really believe me?" I nodded. He smiled all of a sudden, but his face fell the next second. But, I'm so useless. Jiangqi, I was so scared when I saw you fall. I don't know. I have no clue. Where I threw the nomination bead. Am I totally useless? Jiangqi, the funny thing is, I actually bought his crap. I let out a bitter laugh. His acting was so obviously terrible, but I still fell for it. I really thought he was just too panicked and too worried about me. Until we fell into the 10,000 demon cave. He took out the life-sustaining bead to keep Song Qingwan alive, long enough to survive the entire blood essence replacement process. The egg sensed I was in a bad mood and rubbed against my head trying to comfort me, but it misjudged its strength and bumped into me hard. There was a loud thud, and a sharp pain hit me. I suddenly forgot all the stupid things I did in my past life. This damn egg seemed to realize it messed up while trying to help, and immediately scurried to the other corner of the room. Looking at how cowardly the egg acted, I was both annoyed and amused. I have no clue what's inside this egg, that it's got such a personality of picking on the weak and cowering from the strong. But before I could deal with it, we landed in Linzhou. Everything after that went exactly like it did in my past life. The only difference was, the one who took Baiyu to get the life-sustaining bead this time was the little junior sister, and I didn't care about that thing anymore. But after being reborn, some things I struggled so hard to get before are now being handed to me on a silver platter. When Baiyu found me, I was warming myself by a fire in the cave. His originally snow-white clothes were all charred black, and his usually smooth hair was all knotted. He approached me carefully, wiped the blood off the life-sustaining bead, and handed it to me, saying, "Zhangchen, I got the life-sustaining bead back for you." I got it back. It's a shame that some things, once you miss out on them, you never want them again. That's the case for the life-sustaining bead. And that's the case for Baiyu, too. I let out a scoff. Did you use the same tricks you used on me? To trick the little junior sister again? Let me guess. You pushed her out to draw the white tiger's attention so you could get away. When she woke up, you cried to her, saying you were so panicked back then. You didn't mean to push her. Then you played the pity card, saying you had no idea where you lost the life-sustaining bead. Am I right, Baiyu? As I spoke sentence by sentence, Baiyu's face got paler and paler, and his arms kept trembling. When I finished speaking, he said shakily, You remember everything? I curled my lips into a smile. That's right, Baiyu. Didn't you know? I was reborn too. That's why I don't want you anymore. As soon as I finished speaking, tears started streaming down Baiyu's face, and all the color drained from his face. No, that's not true. Sister Jiang, give me another chance. Just one more chance, please. Okay, looking at him beg me so pathetically. I couldn't help feeling a surge of pleasure. I smiled cruelly, looked at him and said, Baiyu, I gave you a chance before. You didn't want it. You don't get any more chances now. Baiyu's expression completely crumbled in an instant. He stood up, his eyes dark and full of madness. Jiangqi, you can't do this. You were so nice to me before. You did so much for me. How can you not want me anymore? I picked up my sword and pointed it at him without hesitation. Sword energy gathered at the tip, emitting waves of chilling, murderous aura. But he acted like he didn't see it, and stepped closer to me bit by bit. The tip of the sword pierced his chest, and blood dripped down the blade. But he seemed to feel no pain. He just stared at me blankly. Sister Jiang, look at me. You've always loved me. You've never loved anyone but me. We love each other. We promised we'd stay together for life. A wave of dizziness hit me, and I thought to myself, this is bad. I was tempted like this many times in my past life, so of course I knew what this was. But in this life, the white fox was born without being suppressed by the heavenly thunder tribulation, and the little junior sister gave him everything he wanted. They started dual cultivation very early. Now the power of his charm spell is actually more than twice as strong as it was in my past life. The hand holding the sword gradually went limp. I bit through my own lower lip, forcing myself to stay awake. I gathered all my spiritual power to the tip of the sword and thrust it out fiercely. Blood gushed out from Baiyu's body, but he didn't seem to care at all. He just kept repeating those few lines mechanically. The hallucinations in front of me got worse and worse. My lips were already bleeding profusely, but I still couldn't fight off Baiyu's obsession. I could feel my body moving towards Bai Yu step by step out of my control. The moment I was about to fall into his arms, a bright golden light burst out everywhere. Fiery red clouds swept me up and took me away, and I fell into a warm, burning embrace. My muddled thoughts gradually cleared up, and the first thing I saw was a super familiar face. I was shocked in my heart. Actually, I didn't get reborn right after I died in my past life. My soul floated above the Sect, and couldn't leave for a really long time. I saw Bai Yu use the exact same lines he used on me before. On my junior sister, I saw them being all lovey-dovey together, and they even talked about me from time to time. The junior sister would always bring me up on purpose after they got intimate, holding Bai Yu's arm and acting coquettishly. "A you in your eyes? Who's better, me or senior sister?" Bai Yu would always hug her dotingly and say without mercy, "Wan Wan? She's not as pretty as you, nor as fun as you." When it comes to cultivation, she only knows rote learning and can't be flexible at all. How can she even compare to you? I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Turns out me urging him to cultivate back then, and patiently teaching him sword technique chants, was just me being inflexible. The junior sister was over the moon from Bai Yu's sweet words. Not long after, they got engaged. Everyone across all realms gushed about how perfect and loving they were. A match made in heaven. No one remembered that the white fox once had another owner. They wore bright red wedding robes. Every stitch on them glowed with golden light. Hundreds of birds came to congratulate them. Auspicious beasts led the way. Fiery red fireworks lit up the entire sky. They walked past the Sect's plaque, past all the praises and blessings, and also past the road I paved for them with my own blood, until they finally reached the main hall. But right at that moment, a stream of light came shooting from far away. The main hall was ruthlessly smashed into ruins. Bai Yu held the junior sister in his arms, frowning and looking into the distance. "I wonder why Your Excellency is ruining our wedding." That person didn't say a word. He used his spiritual power to conjure 2 spirit feathers. The fiery red spirit feathers cut through the clouds and sea in the churning mist. In an instant, the ground shook and the mountains swayed. Phoenix departs from the 9th heaven. The elders of Qingqiu saw that things were going south, formed a formation, and stood in front of Bai Yu to block him. "Phoenix Excellency, please hold on. I wonder what wrong our clan has done to you. We will definitely repay you 100-fold for it. We beg Your Excellency to spare the life of our clan's celestial fox." Lin Yu was ruthless, in front of the power of an ancient divine beast. No matter how many blocks they put up, it was just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. It didn't even stop for a second. Lin Yu broke through the center of the earthquake and shot straight into the bodies of Bai Yu and the junior sister. The moment Lin Yu pierced into them, it turned into a stream of light and dissipated into the world. As for the wounds on the 2 of them, blood gushed out nonstop. The junior sister was still crying and screaming, "Brother!" But no one dared to save her, and no one could save her even if they wanted to. Bai Yu looked at the mist in the distance unwillingly. He couldn't believe he was just going to die like this. Bai Yu was wondering why when the thick mist slowly dispersed, revealing a figure. He looked casually in the direction of the 2 of them and said flatly, "Jiangqi did me a favor. I'm just here to settle the karmic debt." As he rode on the clouds and mist, I saw that person's face clearly. It was exactly the person holding me right now. But he no longer had that dignified and calm look from back then. He buried his head in the crook of my neck and rubbed against me like a wronged kid. "Why aren't you telling me a story today? Did the little carp find his mom?" My body went stiff. Before I could even react, the words had already slipped out of my mouth. He found his mom. She was made into a big, tender plate of sour and spicy fish. He was silent for a moment and asked, "What about the little carp?" "Oh, the little carp. Is that braised carp on the table?" He laughed and hugged me even tighter. "That's a good story. Tell me more next time." Before I could say anything, Bai Yu, who had been knocked to the ground, got up. His eyes were red as he stared daggers at me. "It's him again, Jiangqi. Who is he? Who is he?" "It was him in my past life. He killed me to get revenge for you. Now it's him again." As he spoke, he seemed to realize something, staring at me wildly. "So you've been hooking up with him this whole time. I, Dao Yuan, have never wronged you." "Jiang Qian! Jiang Qian!" "We're the same kind of people. You betrayed me too. Didn't you? I can pretend nothing ever happened. We can write off all past grudges. We can be just like we used to be. Okay? I looked calmly at the disheveled Baiyu. I thought I'd still get angry at his words. But weirdly, I felt no ripple in my heart at all. I looked at him indifferently, like I was looking at a totally irrelevant person. Baiyu, stop judging others with your dirty mind. Not everyone in the world is as greedy as you. And ungrateful? Spiritual power gathered on my sword again. Vast sword energy poured out violently and stabbed through Baiyu's body without mercy. This sword is payback for you throwing me into the lion's den. I lifted the sword, bringing up a cloud of blood mist. Baiyu let out a shrill scream, but I paid him no attention at all. I stabbed the sword straight into his body again. This sword is payback for you draining all my essence blood. Blood gushed out violently. Baiyu's voice was already hoarse. He clung to the ground and struggled to crawl outward, but I pinned him in place with my power. This sword is payback for you being a celestial beast, yet repaying kindness with hatred. I glanced calmly at the stiff figure frozen in place, who seemed to have stopped breathing, the nine-tailed white fox revered as the celestial fox of Qingqiu. Of course wouldn't die that easily. But just this one injury will take him millions of years to recover from. After all, dying is way too easy for him. He still has to appear for the big show coming next. I put my sword back into its sheath, held the phoenix's hand, and walked out of the cave. Without looking back, after this sword strike, we have no ties anymore. After we got outside, I felt the palm in my hand that was different from mine, bony but firm. Only then did I feel awkward out of the blue. Before I could let go of his hand, he gripped my hand tightly in return. A warm body pressed up against my back. Wifey, you were so badass just now. Who's your wifey? I tried to break free subconsciously, but it felt like I was stuck against an iron wall. I couldn't move an inch. Before I could say anything, he started complaining first. Wifey, how can you be like this? You were still holding me to sleep just 2 days ago? How can you ditch me right after getting out of bed? I was shocked. That's so unfair. I'm a pure unmarried young girl. When did I ever hold a grown man like you to sleep? Ever since I took human form. The only thing I held to sleep for a few days was that egg. Wait, I suddenly realized something and looked at him in disbelief. You're Dan Dan? He nodded, with a you finally figured it out look, mixed with a little bit of disgust. Don't call me Dan Dan. I have a name. My name is Feng Ming. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I should be your mom, right? How am I your wifey? He smiled and said calmly. Because for our Phoenix clan husbands, all have to be hatched by their wives themselves. You hatched me, so I'm your husband. I looked like I wanted to cry but had no tears. This is the first time I've regretted so much that I hatched that egg so carefully, as if he sensed my reluctance. Feng Ming turned me around to look at me face to face. He said softly, Wifey, it's too late to regret now. I already left a mark on you a long time ago. Heaven and the mortal world. You can't escape me anywhere you go. Then he didn't say anything else. He held my hand. Close your eyes. Draw the deepest spiritual power from your spiritual mansion and release it. I followed his instructions subconsciously. Spiritual power floated around inside my spiritual mansion, sank deeper little by little, getting closer to the deepest spiritual energy. A mysterious, indescribable feeling suddenly washed over me. Spiritual energy gathered in my hand along the spiritual veins little by little. I opened my eyes and sent a wave of spiritual power towards the distant forest. In an instant, the entire forest burned to ashes, leaving no trace behind. Only the lingering heat in the air remained. I looked at my hands in disbelief. I couldn't believe I just cast that attack. Feng Ming took my hand. He chuckled. My wife is totally awesome. The fire contained in the spiritual power just now is the brand you mentioned. Feng Ming nodded. But ordinary people can't blend spiritual power with fire this well, and their power won't be this strong either. Before I was born, my power was very weak. I only let the spiritual power carry a faint trace of phoenix fire. It's mostly because you, my wife, practice hard every day that we get such great power. I bit my lip and stared at him steadily. No matter what, thank you. At the very least, without Feng Ming, getting revenge on Baiyu would never have been this easy. After that day, Feng Ming stayed by my side the whole time. He kept calling me wife. no matter how many times I corrected him. He never changed how he addressed me. But unlike Baiyu, he never forced me to dual cultivate. After I turned him down once, he was a little upset, but bounced back right away. He stuck to me and taught me how to use the phoenix fire in my spiritual power. Feng Ming was born with hundreds of thousands of years of the Phoenix clan's legacy. Under his guidance, my cultivation improved rapidly. By fighting the spirit beasts in the secret realm, I also gained a lot of practical combat experience. When the day came to leave the secret realm, I was actually a little reluctant to go. Feng Ming tugged at my sleeve and said with a smile, "No big deal, we can come back later if we get the chance. There's still a big show waiting for us later." I glanced at him with a smile and stepped out of the secret realm with him. Outside the secret realm, the atmosphere was totally oppressive. The sect's leading elder saw me come out with a strange man and asked who he was. I replied, "This is Feng Ming. I got a lucky chance in the secret realm, and he hatched from an immortal beast egg." The leading elder knew about the immortal beast egg, so he didn't ask any more questions. His face was covered in deep worry. I took the chance to ask him what was wrong, but he just sighed. On this trip to the secret realm, our sect lost a lot of disciples. Actually, casualties are totally normal during secret realm training, and we've had disciples die in training before. But this time we brought over 100 disciples, and more than 50 of their life tokens shattered. At first, he suspected something had gone wrong inside the immortal cloud secret realm. But all the other sects had normal casualty numbers. Losing so many people is a huge blow to the sect. How am I supposed to explain this? I lowered my head and thought for a moment. I looked at the leading elder and asked, "Could you let me see the shattered life tokens, elder?" The elder sighed and took out the life tokens. I went through each of them carefully and put down the last one. I already knew what was going on. All the dead disciples were the ones who usually hung out with the little junior sister. Quite a few of them were the ones who yelled for me to step down that day. That included the chubby disciple. After that day, I didn't ask about them on purpose, but I still heard some rumors. A group of disciples led by the chubby one completely gave up cultivating on their own and just sucked up to the little junior sister every day, hoping to get some rare treasures from her. As time went by, their cultivation actually improved super fast, which made them keep doing it even more. But cultivation built up with rare treasures is useless in the end. The secret realm is full of dangers. If you only have the title of a high cultivation level, but no idea how to use your power, you can't deal with the dangers anyway. But with so many disciples dead, I suddenly thought of something. Baiyu, who I stabbed 3 times that day. I lowered my eyes. If my guess is right, and that's really what happened, the 2 of them have probably committed countless crimes. Before I could verify my guess, we started the journey back to the sect. The casualties were so heavy this time that the sect leader was shocked. The Immortal Lord even personally led the investigation, but it ended up going nowhere in the end. I wasn't surprised by this result at all, but our master called us to the main hall. When I arrived, the little junior sister and Baiyu were already there. The second we saw each other, I noticed that Baiyu, who was supposed to be badly injured, was standing elegantly in the middle of the hall. The little junior sister, who I hadn't seen for ages, had her spiritual root destroyed and became a total mortal. Master was pointing his sword at Baiyu, and the little junior sister was standing firmly in front of Baiyu to protect him. "Master Baiyu, he's innocent." "Innocent? Tell me." "Your spiritual root is completely shattered, while he only got a tiny scratch. You call that innocent? Everyone knows he's your contracted immortal beast. When you run into danger, you 2 are supposed to bear it together, not just throw you out to take the hit." "He didn't," little junior sister was still arguing stubbornly. When she saw me walk in, it was like she'd grabbed a lifeline. She glared at me furiously. "Master, it's all senior sister's fault. My spiritual root shattered only because of her. Everything is her fault." "What? Jiang Qian? You tell me what exactly happened here." I gave a calm salute, glanced at the totally disheveled little junior sister, and said clearly, "With Master as witness, I have done nothing to deserve this accusation." Inside the secret realm, I was fully focused on training. What wrong could I have possibly done? She just couldn't accept that I was completely unharmed, while she turned into an ordinary mortal. Little junior sister looked completely deranged. Her shrill voice sounded extra grating. It's all your fault. When I was in danger, why didn't you come save me? You were obviously supposed to take the hit for me. Right after she finished speaking, a sharp slap landed. A bright red handprint appeared on little junior sister's face. She covered her cheek and looked at Master in total disbelief. Master, you hit me? You hit me for a useless piece of trash? Song Tingwan, she is your senior sister. She's not. She obviously is nothing compared to me. Why? Why the hell? She looked completely insane, then suddenly thought of something. She turned around and hugged Bai Yu tightly. Bai Yu, tell me, who's better, me or senior sister? Say something. No one knew exactly when. Little junior sister's face was already covered in tears. But paired with her deranged expression right now, she didn't have a single trace of her former holy look left. Instead, her face looked straight up terrifying. Bai Yu glanced at her and pushed her away mercilessly. What even are you? How dare you compare yourself to Jiang Qian? With that, he knelt in front of me and crawled towards me on his knees step by step. He got close and tried to hug me, but I dodged away immediately. His eyes were filled with hurt, but he didn't dare touch me again. He was scared of making me unhappy. Jiang Qian, look at me, please. I don't like her. I don't like her at all. Take me with you, okay? Before I could say anything, little junior sister lunged at me, trying to push me over. But Bai Yu reacted super fast and shoved her away hard. She crashed into the steps in front of the hall and coughed up a mouthful of blood. She stared at me with bitter resentment in her eyes. Jiang Qian, why won't you just leave me alone? It's all you, everything's your fault. Why did you come to steal everything from me? Bai Yu, you just hate that he likes me, right? It sounded like I just heard the dumbest joke ever. I glanced at her coldly. Song Tingwan, no one is after what's yours. Bai Yu? After all, not everyone treats trash like a treasure. After saying that, I saluted Master again and asked to be excused. At that moment, the little disciple he'd doted on for years had shown her true colors for the first time, which had truly broken his heart. Master looked like he'd aged over 10 years in an instant. He waved at me. The look in his eyes when he gazed at me was full of weariness. It's Master's fault, I owe you an apology. But for my sake, let her off this time. If she makes a mistake again next time, you can do whatever you want with her. I won't stop you ever again. I stared at him steadily. For who knows how long. I finally said okay. After I left Master's place, I sat in my cave abode, and for once didn't cultivate. Feng Ming showed up out of nowhere at some point and held me tight in his arms. Maybe I'd been suppressing my feelings for way too long, and suddenly running into someone who didn't ask any questions and just supported me without hesitation made my tears burst out all at once. Tears rolled down my cheeks drop by drop, soaking Feng Ming's clothes. He didn't say a single word, just gently stroked my back, quietly comforting me. Feng Ming, why is the heavens so unfair? Some people are born with so many people doting on them, but they still aren't satisfied. They even have to take away the tiny little precious things that belong to other people. It was the exact same time in my past life. Master also called me and little junior sister over back then. But I was the one who got hurt that time. Back then, my spirit root cracked. My cultivation base could never improve even a little for the rest of my life. But I still got scolded by Master when I got back. It turned out that right after junior sister returned, she had already cried to Master about it. She made it sound like I was being overly competitive and wanted that life substitute pearl. I flatly denied it. That's definitely not what happened. I looked hopefully at Bai Yu, hoping he could testify for me, but he just glanced at me, his eyes teary, and said, Jiang Qian, a mistake is a mistake. Just admit you're wrong. Don't say anything else. Master looked at me with disappointment. Junior sister was putting on an act and trying to mediate, but it only made Master even angrier. The light in my eyes faded little by little, until I finally said, this disciple is in the wrong. I beg Master for forgiveness. But why is it now? Even though Master is disappointed, he still set aside his pride to beg me to spare junior sister. Feng Ming listened to me finish calmly and sighed. He wiped the tears off my face and stared right at me, Jiangqie, you're different from her. She's born spoiled and lazy. She can only rely on others to protect her. But you're not like that. He looked at me, with a seriousness I'd never seen before on his face. It felt like I was seeing that noble, otherworldly figure from my past life again. He said to me, Jiangqie, you're different. You're meant to become a god. Become a god? The light in my eyes slowly lit up. That's right, I'm meant to become a god. A god rules over all living beings. A god nourishes all things on earth. And most importantly, a god has absolute power and always relies on themselves. If you rely on others, you'll only end up as an appendage. Only by relying on yourself can you truly live a life that's yours. My cultivation base, which had been stagnant for ages, suddenly loosened up. I felt like I finally understood my own Tao. I happily gave Feng Ming a hug, then unceremoniously kicked him out, saying I needed to go into seclusion as an excuse, leaving Feng Ming, who had only gotten to hug his wife for a second, staring at the closed door of the cave abode, standing there dumbfounded in the wind. This seclusion lasted way longer than usual. When I came out, 30 years had already passed. Everything outside the door was the same as before. Willow branches were dancing in the wind. Sunlight streamed through the clouds onto the ground. Everything was so perfect, except for that bitter man standing at the door. Thinking about how I'd blown him off right after getting what I needed before seclusion, I suddenly felt a little awkward. I walked up to him and gave him an embarrassed smile. Before I could say anything, he grabbed my hand first and looked at me with that bitter expression. My dear wife, don't tell me you found another lover and don't care about me anymore. What are you doing? He glanced at his hand and stared at me with a hurt look, like I was some heartless jerk who dumped him. I smiled guiltily, leaned over and took his hand. Okay, I didn't do it on purpose. It's just that your little act scared me so much. Where did you even learn that? From the brothel at the foot of the mountain, of course. I saw those people there. Every time they acted like this, the guests were super happy and rushed to comfort them. Brothel, for some reason, I suddenly felt a little annoyed and forced myself to push that feeling down. I pretended to be casual and asked, "You went to a brothel?" Who knew as soon as I said that? Feng Ming secretly glanced at me. It's all because of you, duh. Because of me? I was totally confused. Hu Ming nodded. Yeah, you're always so cold to me, wifey. Of course I had to go learn how to please my wife, right? Otherwise, he sighed sadly. Otherwise, what if you find another lover out there? For the first time, I wanted to strangle my own big mouth. But before I could say anything, a voice transmission came to my rescue. It was a junior brother I used to get along pretty well with. Senior sister, senior sister! Don't tell me you forgot about the Sect grand celebration. Hurry to the training ground. We're swamped here. Sect grand celebration? It's held every 100 years. It's a celebration for the founding of the Sect. Counting the days. This year marks the 5,000th anniversary of the Sect's founding. No wonder everyone's so busy this year. Using this as an excuse, I quickly escaped that super awkward atmosphere. But who knew right after I arrived at the martial arts field? I saw Junior Sister and Bai Yu. Long time no see. Junior Sister was back to her usual glamorous self. But anyone who knows their stuff can tell. The things she has now compared to before are literally worlds apart. Ever since she came back from the secret realm, her spiritual root was completely shattered. Other than her innate dual cultivation physique, she has nothing left to rely on. But ever since Bai Yu took human form, she couldn't resist the temptation and did dual cultivation with Bai Yu. She only saw the short-term increase in her cultivation, but didn't notice that the innate spiritual energy of her dual cultivation physique was running out. White foxes are lustful by nature, and nine-tailed white foxes are even worse. Their cultivation path is already rejected by the heavenly Tao. To survive, they can only do dual cultivation with highly spiritual people to cover up the evil aura on their bodies. But in exchange, as a price, the spirituality of the person they dual cultivate with will get worse and worse until it's completely gone. By then, the cultivator will never progress again, and the effect of the dual cultivation physique will also disappear completely. And the long-term dual cultivation with Bai Yu has already worn out Junior Sister's bodily spirituality. The effect of her dual cultivation physique is almost gone. Her precious brothers probably noticed this too. so they stopped fawning over someone who's useless to them. But junior sister has long been blinded by love and can't see the root of the problem. Even after those men treated her coldly, she still only chases after Baiyu, but it's doomed to end badly. The second Baiyu saw me, he walked towards me excitedly, trying to grab my hand, but he remembered I don't like him. So he stopped 1 meter away from me, looking at me happily. Jiangtian, you're out of seclusion. Do you have any idea what happens to you is none of my business. I cut him off, didn't even look at him, and shifted my gaze to junior sister who came with him. I was too far away just now. Couldn't see clearly. Now that I'm close, I realize junior sister actually has demonic ki on her. This demonic qui, ordinary cultivators and even demons can't see it. But phoenixes are ancient divine beasts, and phoenix fire is an extremely pure and powerful substance. Because of Feng Ming's influence, I can also see some demonic qui ordinary people can't. This demonic ki is so strong, I squinted my eyes and thought of a place. Unlike the hysterics I imagined, junior sister was looking at me calmly, like she already had the win in the bag. I glanced at her, ignored Baiyu who was rambling on the side, turned around and flew away. That junior brother was waiting for me to handle the ingredients. I took the knife. I contacted Feng Ming with a secret technique in my mind and told him what I just found out. After I ended the call, I looked at the cleaned fish in my hand, lost in thought. If my guess is right, I smiled and threw the fish into the basin next to me. This big show is all starting thanks to junior sister. We kept preparing till the afternoon. All the stuff for the sect grand ceremony was finally ready. When evening came, disciples and elders arrived one after another, marking the official start of the sect grand ceremony. After the sect master immortal gave his usual speech, he let the disciples do their own activities. I was eating the deboned fish Feng Ming picked out for me. Junior sister suddenly walked up to me holding 2 cups of wine. She took out 1 cup and handed it to me. Quietly showing the red marks on her body, she said pitifully, "Senior sister, I wronged you in the past. Baiyu. He's really not a good man. I'm sorry, senior sister. Can you forgive me?" I watched her lousy acting and exchanged a look with Feng Ming and was about to take the wine cup. In the blink of an eye, a stream of spiritual energy flashed by and knocked the wine cup out of her hand. All the wine spilled on the ground, releasing a cloud of demonic chi. I glanced at the wine cup regretfully, then looked at the person who came. It was Baiyu. Unlike his graceful self earlier that day, his face was covered in sweat, and his white robe was stained with blood. He clutched his chest and said shakily, "That wine has demonic chi." The commotion just now had already caught a lot of people's attention. As soon as Baiyu said that, it caused a commotion. But most of the disciples didn't believe it. After all, demonic chi hasn't been seen for tens of thousands of years. How could it suddenly end up in the wine? But before they could react, the junior martial sister burst into wild laughter. The rampaging demonic chi snapped her hairband and her clothes flapped violently, her eyes turning a blinding bright red. A blood-red mark appeared between her eyebrows. That's the sign of falling to the demonic path. The nearby disciples were too scared to say a word. Someone already ran to get the elders. I forcefully put Feng Ming back into the immortal beast egg. I didn't look surprised at all. The junior martial sister looked at me with a half smirk. "Sister Jiang, why aren't you surprised? Why aren't you scared? How can you be so calm? I'm not surprised at all. After all, you did this once in my past life. Didn't you?" She paused for a second and gave a smile uglier than a cry. No one suspected she fell to the demonic path in my past life. Even my past self didn't. It wasn't until I saw her this afternoon that I figured it out. Right, the 10,000 Demon Grotto is so dangerous. Why would the ever-cautious junior martial sister risk her life? Just to hurt me? The only possible explanation is that she fell to the demonic path, so she had to go to the 10,000 Demon Grotto. She had to steal my entire essence and blood, had to take my life, to bet on her chance to become an immortal again. I really underestimated the former junior martial sister. Turns out she did all of this. It was all a scheme. Even Baiyu was kept in the dark. In my past life, she fell to the demonic path out of greed. But this life, it's all because of love. Because of Baiyu? A once proud genius ended up like this. But I don't feel bad for her at all. Those who are pitiable must have hateful traits. If she knew how to be content, knew how to cherish what she had, she wouldn't have ended up like this. The junior marshal sister stared at me and stopped hiding anything. Her pretty features only made her look even more hideous. Zhang Qian, why do you have to take everything from me? My status in the past life. And now Baiyu's heart. Why? All the good stuff has to be yours? Why is that, Song Qingwen? Do you still not get it? This is all because you're never content. Never content? She nodded with a half smirk. Then she gathered demonic chi and charged at me. I'm the chosen one by heaven. Why should I be content? I summoned my spiritual power. The phoenix fire in my spiritual power blocked the attack. It caught fire the second it touched the demonic chi, lighting up Song Qingwen's face. Phoenix fire? Song Qingwen chuckled. Look, Jiang Tian, all the good stuff is yours? I didn't want to argue with her anymore. I could never reason with her anyway. So I'd let my strength do the talking. I pricked my fingertip and dropped blood on my sword. Green light flashed instantly. A dragon roamed the sky. Phoenix fire wrapped around my spiritual power. Dragon's roar and Phoenix's cry intertwined together. They charged at the dark barrier along with my sword. The moment black and gold collided, cracks started appearing on the barrier. Song Qingwen tried to summon all her demonic chi, but found her body was already completely drained. She stared at me in shock and rage. Jiang Tian, what did you do? Song Qingwen, do you think dual cultivation with the white fox is a good thing? Your body has been drained for a long time. You're just at the end of your rope, Song Qingwen. You lost. Golden light flared up all at once. Spiritual power gathered into thick fog, blocking between the two of us. We couldn't see each other clearly. Through the thick fog, Song Qingwen spat out a mouthful of blood and stared at me unwillingly. You knew this all along? The prouder the junior marshal sister is of something, the higher the price she has to pay for it? Is that so? But Jiang Qian, you missed one thing. I still have a backup plan. As soon as she finished speaking, she used up all her spiritual power, broke through the thick fog, and lunged at me with all her might. She was holding something in her hand. Dark demonic chi kept emanating from it nonstop. My pupils shrank. It's the demon seed, the source of all demonic chi. If you get infected by it, the only outcome is falling to the demonic path. Fengming was sealed inside the immortal beast egg by me. It was jumping around anxiously. I touched my storage ring to comfort it. The next second, I summoned Phoenix Fire to form a shield. But before the demon seed could touch me, the Phoenix Fire hit a person who suddenly appeared. Baiyu stood in front of me to block the attack, looked at me with eyes full of hope. Jiang Tian, I protected you this time. Before I could say anything, Song Qingwen burst out laughing. Baiyu, oh Baiyu. Why, just why? Tears were streaming down her face. Her eyes fixed on Baiyu were full of unwillingness. You wanted to do dual cultivation. I gave you everything you asked for. When you were badly injured in tough times? It was all me, who killed almost 50 Sect disciples as a sacrifice for you, to heal your wounds. After that, my spiritual root was shattered. I lost everything I had. But I never stopped protecting you. Baiyu. Why? There is no why. Demonic energy slowly wrapped around Baiyu's body. His jet black hair turned snow white. All the injuries he just got were fully healed. He slowly walked towards Song Qingwen, reached out and stabbed right through her body. The moment she was about to die, he took out the life-sustaining pearl to keep her alive, and stabbed her again with a blank expression. My life was given to me by him. I was blind in my past life. I only wanted to get stronger to be worthy of him. But in the end, I killed him with my own hands. I deserve to atone for my sins. As soon as he finished speaking, he dragged the half-dead, Song Qingwen, and knelt before me. Jiangqi, I'm willing to take her to the 10,000 Devils Cave, to atone for my sins for the rest of my life. I stared at him for a long time, looked away and said calmly, okay. That was the end of the whole incident. Master didn't say anything after he found out. He just looked a lot older than before. The culprit who killed nearly 50 Sect disciples got the punishment he deserved, but those disciples could never come back. The Sect leader specially invited monks from the Great Buddha Temple to perform salvation rituals for them, hoping they would have a good life in their next reincarnation. Everything slowly got back on track. except for me, who was busy comforting Feng Ming. The night I let Feng Ming out, Feng Ming kept nagging, asking me to undo the fairy beast contract. Because of this contract, he couldn't go against my will as long as it existed. Every time there was a crisis, I would force him back into the fairy beast egg. He was burning with anxiety watching me from inside. I figured there wouldn't be any more big trouble later, so I agreed to his request. Who knew as soon as the contract was undone, he hugged me tight and wouldn't let go. He didn't say anything or move, just kept holding me like that. After struggling a few times with no use, I gave up fighting and hugged him back. All of a sudden, I felt something wet on my neck. I opened my eyes and heard, "Zhangqian, you scared me to death, you know that? I'm the best at suppressing demonic energy. You know that. I watched you from inside the egg, almost getting infected by the demon seed. I was so scared. I was terrified that you would leave me, that you wouldn't want me anymore. Jiangtian, can you please let me face dangers with you?" The sassy little phoenix was crying like a total mess. I wiped his tears away and looked straight at him. "Feng Ming, I promise you, I'll never do that again." As soon as I finished speaking, I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him gently. "Will you be my husband and stay by my side forever?" Feng Ming's body went stiff. Then he hugged me tight and took the lead. My whole body went limp. I could only nestle in his arms, leaning on him so I wouldn't fall to the ground. Feng Ming held me tighter, looked into my eyes devoutly and said, "I do.